Good afternoon. Thank you for each and every one of you being here with us on the event, Reading A Pathway to Peace and Justice. I'm Luna Lu, the Senior Innovation Officer for Global Youth Advancement Network at Michigan State University. We are very pleased to be with PeaceQuest and LATTICE, linking all types of teachers to international cross-cultural education, co-host this book event to celebrate the special date, International Day of Peace. The 2022 theme for this International Day of Peace is End Racism, Build Peace. We invite you to join the efforts as we work towards the world free of racism and racial discrimination, a world we can truly be proud of. At first, I find immense pleasure in introducing Lynn Bartley. Lynn is the long-life K-12 educator, immediate past president of Greater Lansing in the United Nations Association and the coordinator of PeaceQuest 2022 planning team. I now invite Lynn to give us a PeaceQuest overview. Thank you.
Thank you, Luna. Hello, everyone. Thank you to Global Youth Advancement and Network and to LATTICE, linking all types of teachers in cross-cultural education, for co-hosting this very special PeaceQuest event. Thanks also to our presenters today. I really look forward to hearing your presentations. PeaceQuest Greater Lansing is our local celebration of the International Day of Peace. And it is coordinated by the Greater Lansing United Nations Association, and has many community hosts that host events all through the month of September. In fact, this year it goes on through October 2nd. If you're interested in some of the events that are still taking place, you can look at peacequestgreaterlansing.org. We'd also invite you to see the Greater Lansing United Nations Association website at gluna.org, and we would always welcome you to be involved. Again, we're delighted that Jen and LATTICE are hosting this PeaceQuest event. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Opal Lehman-Barthis, Executive Director of Education Abroad at Michigan State University and Interim Director for the Global Youth Advancement Network, who started this idea of today's event. Please join me in welcoming Opal.
Thank you, Luna, and hello, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here with you. I'm Dr. Opal Lehman-Barthis. I'm Executive Director of Education Abroad at Michigan State University, and also the Interim Director of the Global Youth Advancement Network, or GYAN. And so Luna and others, we are so proud to be part of this. So glad that GYAN can be involved. To give you a little bit of information about GYAN, we're a coordinating platform that focuses on research and international development activities. And we do this in relation to education, entrepreneurship, leadership training, and mentoring. In this coordinating platform, we work on capacity building, content development, and convening thought leaders. We're so focused on, in relation to global youth, for all of these areas, and we're so focused on the ideas of peace and justice and also citizen diplomacy that it seemed like a really important opportunity to be part of PeaceQuest and to specifically sponsor this event. So again, on behalf of GYAN and MSU, we are just delighted to be here, and thank you again for allowing us to take part.
Thank you so much, Opal. I would like to invite our next presenter, Mary Spirito Hennessey, the Director of Volunteer English Tutorial Group Program at Michigan State University, librarian for 30 years, and coordinator of LATTICE Book Club. Mary will introduce children's books that encourage peace and understanding. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Luna. And thank you, Chipozo. I've read some of your book and some very inspiring stories there about young people. So I chose some books that I hope will inspire some more young people. And these are books that I'm going to introduce them as if you can introduce them to your children, your students, your grandchildren. I kind of thought of my grandchildren as I was writing up these descriptions. So let me share my screen. And I will show you some of the pictures if I can find them. Let's see. Any advice? What's the next thing I should do, Luna? Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes, I can see what you are sharing, and you just push the button of displaying it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, looks great.
It says my low system resources may affect my audio quality. So let's see if I can close some things. Okay. I will start by saying that Nelson Mandela said that peace is the creation of an environment where all can flourish. Peace is also acts of kindness that make our world a better place. And this is what I would say to children. Here are some children's books that show people all over the world who have done something, sometimes something small, sometimes something big that makes the world better. The first one is Miss Rumphius by Barbara Cooney. When Alice Rumphius was a child, she decides that when she grows up, she wants to travel to faraway places and then come home and live by the sea. But her grandfather reminds her that she also must do one important thing. She must do something to make the world more beautiful. But what can that be? As she grows up, Alice does travel and finally comes back to her home by the sea. But she remembers her grandfather's words. She must do something to make the world more beautiful. While thinking about this, she looks out her window and she realizes that the lupins that grow near her house are lovely. Why doesn't she plant more so that many other people can enjoy them? So one summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets filled with seeds, traveled over fields and hills sowing lupins. This book is based on a real lupin lady who spread seeds along the coast of Maine. And if you travel to Maine, you can see some of those now. They are making the world more beautiful. The next book I'd like to tell you about is Manji Moves a Mountain by Nancy Chernin, illustrated by Danny Popovici. Dashrath Manji was a person who wanted to make life better for everyone in his village. His village was separated from another village by a large mountain. One side had schools, hospitals, running water, and better growing conditions for farmers. In Manji's village, nothing grew. Children gave up walking to school, which was 40 miles over the mountain. But Manji had an idea. Using only a chisel and hammer, he took 22 years to cut a road through the mountain. For most of those years, Manji was ridiculed for pursuing an impossible goal. But Manji had a dream and he was willing to work hard to make his dream come true. He made a dangerous 34-mile walk across the mountain into a manageable 9-mile walk on a safe road. When talking with children about peace, we can explain that the root of peace is justice. Justice and equity means everyone deserves fair treatment. When Manji saw an injustice, he peacefully resolved the problem. Wangari Maathai was a Kenyan environmentalist and women's rights activist. There are many books for children about this amazing woman. There are some of them. They describe how wise Wangari helped Kenyan village women solve problems from hunger to dirty water with the same solution: plant a tree, she said. She raised funds to pay poor women a small amount to plant and care for each tree, and by doing this, she gave them a way to improve their lives. Her Green Belt movement spread to many countries in Africa and beyond. In 2004, Wangari won a Nobel Peace Prize, the first one given to an environmentalist and the first one to an African woman, for her contribution to sustainable development, democracy, and peace. The committee said peace on earth depends on our ability to secure our living environment. Another person who planted trees to improve the area around his home began when he was just a boy. His name is Jadav Paying. Here are two books that tell about him: The Boy Who Grew a Forest by Sophia Goltz and The Forest Man by Ann Matheson and Kay Widowson. As a boy, Jadav was saddened as he saw the deforestation and erosion of India's Brahmaputra River region, the place he called home. So he began planting trees and cultivating the land and planting more trees. What began as a small thicket of bamboo grew over the years into a 1,300-acre forest filled with native plants and animals. I read one of these books to my grandson, who was about 5 at the time, and he was pretty fascinated by it. So I think children can enjoy these books and maybe see themselves in the future doing something like this. Sometimes many people, we can tell children, can join together to do something to help others. Lost and Found Cat is by Doug Kuntz and Amy Schroeds. When life in Iraq became too dangerous for Kunkush, the cat, and his family, they risked everything to find a safe home. The family carried Kunkush hundreds of miles over mountains, through forests, and across the sea. But he got lost in the chaos when their boat landed in Greece, and the broken-hearted family was forced to continue on without him. Left behind, Kunkush was hungry and alone. Luckily, some volunteers rescued the starving and bedraggled cat. The rescuers wanted to reunite the lost cat with his family, but could they ever be found? People in many different countries banded together, working for months until finally the seemingly impossible was achieved. Kunkush's family was found in Norway, and they were able to be reunited. This is a true story that shows that even though the world is so big, people can still find ways to help others, this time through technology and social media. Here's a picture of Kunkush reunited with his family. Another true story about people coming together to make a kind of peace takes place in California. The story is Make Something Beautiful, How Art Transformed a Neighborhood. And it's by F. Isabel Campoy and Teresa Howell. It's illustrated by Rafael Lopez, who's one of my favorite children's book illustrators. Mira lives in a gray urban community. She likes to paint and make colorful things, but as you can see in the pictures, the people in her area are kind of gray and depressed. She gives them her paintings sometimes to cheer them up. One day, Mira meets a muralist, and along with his paints and brushes, he brings color, joy, and hope to the neighborhood. Soon the whole neighborhood gets involved, dancing as they cover their walls and sidewalks in a rainbow of loud colors. These people make their neighborhood more beautiful, which gave everyone a feeling of peace and happiness. These may seem like big things to children. They might think, I can never do something like this on my own. But there are small things everyone can do to create peace in their families and communities. The next 2 books are for slightly older children. This is called Peace, Love, Action, Everyday Acts of Goodness. It's an illustrated A to Z of everyday actions that directly make a peaceful, fun, and vibrant world. There are things like make friends, go local, C is for cooperate, F for forgive. These are seemingly small deeds, but they can really add up. Each action on each page comes with an inspirational mini biography of a real hero who exemplifies that action. For example, under P for plant, they have Wangari Maathai. Under B for breathe, they have Thich Nhat Hanh. It follows a set of what you can do prompts, and I think teachers and families can use these things. You could read about the famous person and see what you can do. Similarly, Dictionary for a Better World, poems, quotes, and anecdotes from A to Z by Irene Latham and Charles Waters. How can we make the world a better place? This is an inspiring resource for middle grade readers. It's ordered as a dictionary, organized as a dictionary like the previous book. Each entry presents a word related to creating a better world, such as ally, empathy, or respect. For each word, there is a poem, a quote from an inspiring person, a personal anecdote from the authors, and a try it prompt for an activity. This book has more different kinds of poems. It would be great also to use in a classroom about poetry. There's so many different kinds of forms. Finally, we all know Amanda Gorman. She was the youngest poet laureate at President Biden's inauguration. And she has a book called Change Sings, a children's anthem, illustrated by Lauren Long. And this could really inspire children to do things together and get involved. In this book, a girl invites a group of children to join her in making changes. She says, I am the voice where freedom rings. You're the love your bright heart brings. We're the waves starting to spring, for we are the change we sing. Oops, there we are. She invites them to come along in a parade, all different kinds of children. They are the change they sing. And then I have a few more. I asked some Lattice members, some Lattice teachers, what books they have used or what books they like to use about peace with children. And here are a few that people recommended. The wonderful Karen Klein recommended this one, Whoever You Are by Mem Fox. Every day all over the world, children are laughing and crying, playing and learning, eating and sleeping. They may not look the same, they may not speak the same language, their lives may be quite different from each other, but inside they are all alike. The publisher describes the book this way: stirring words and bold paintings weave their way around our earth, across cultures and generations, and they remind children to accept differences, to recognize similarities, and most important, to rejoice in both. Here is a book, Peace is an Offering. In this book, Giving from the Heart, children find simple and meaningful ways to show friends, neighbors, and family that they care. Peace is gratitude for simple things. Light through a leaf, a dragonfly's wings. I love the illustrations of this, it's very gentle. And finally, this is a book, Good People Everywhere by Linnea Gillen. It could be scary for children to hear about. They might hear about the news. It might be kind of scary to think about all that's going on. But this is a comforting book. It follows ordinary people as they perform good deeds for others, including carpenters repairing homes damaged by storms, parents preparing dinners for their families, and even doctors delivering babies. These are all people doing something good. There are good people everywhere. Most of the publishers of these books include on their website activities and other ways to use the book in a classroom or a library or family. There are many more, but I thought that this would be a good place to start to help children think about peace.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you, Mary. As a mom of two little girls, I have made all of these on my book list for them. Our guest, John Metzler here. John Metzler has long been an educator committed to global capacity and understanding, from Zambia to Philadelphia on to Wisconsin to earn his PhD. John then joined the MSU African Studies Center and the Department of Teacher Education. He is particularly proud of his active engagement with LATTICE from its inception in 1995. Since his retirement in 2019, John has joined the board of Greater Lansing United Nations Association and the Greater Lansing Peace Education Center, and continues to be on the board of LATTICE. Let's welcome John to give us an introduction of LATTICE.
Thank you very much. First of all, I wanted to thank Luna and Pete's Quest for inviting LATTICE to co-sponsor. This is exactly the type of event that LATTICE is associated with, and over the 25 years that we've been in existence. And I noticed from the guests, that the attendees that are here, there are people here that know almost as much about LATTICE as I do, and because of their participation over the years. LATTICE was started in 1995 as a collaboration between Sally McClintock, our founding director, who was a recently retired principal at Shorewood Hills Elementary School and long-term music educator here in the East Lansing area, and the international centers at Michigan State University, particularly the Asian Studies Center, the Latin American Studies Center, and the African Studies Center, where I was engaged with. And from the beginning, the idea was to promote global commitment to and competency in global education among educators. What was unique about this were two things. One, that based on research out of our own MSU College of Education, was becoming clear that effective in-service training was needed to be long-term, over a year or even more than a year. And so we set this up under Sally's leadership to be where we'd have monthly sessions. At that time, we're not doing monthly sessions anymore, where we would bring teachers who were committed to participate in all 9 monthly sessions throughout the year. And this was a different than the average in-service type of training, particularly as related to global education. Then the second unique feature was that, and this was I think a suggestion based on our dear friend Jack Schweely, who was at that time Associate Dean for International Studies in Education at MSU, that we would engage with international students. And so we had international students from all the continents in the world, but particularly from the more underrepresented continents in terms of classroom expertise, that i.e. Africa, Asia, and Latin America, as well as European students as well. And they similarly would be committed to participate in the 9 sessions over the years, so that we would develop the ideas, and I think we were successful in this, develop a learning community, a real learning community where we were comfortable with each other and where we were committed to staying together as a learning community. Part of an offshoot, well, of course, was Mary's Lattice Book Club, and we're very, very thankful to her for her wonderful leadership over the years in the Lattice Book Club, which was one of our most successful offshoots of the main session of Lattice. Things did change a bit with COVID, not surprisingly, and we've had. And we were able to adapt, as we have been over the years, and doing sessions both virtually and hybrid sessions.